That your world has been turned upside down? Have you ever been told by your doctor or your practitioner that there's nothing more you can do? I know this was something that I experienced in the past, and a lot of clients that we work with have heard the same thing. They've gone to their doctor, their blood work came back as normal, or they've been told there's nothing more you can do. You just have to live with whatever the health challenge is, whatever the symptoms, whatever the frustrations that you have, there's nothing you can do. For me, have you ever had your foot fall asleep? You know that numb, kind of tingly pins and needles feeling when it starts to come back? 18 years ago, I woke up one morning and the entire right side of my body had that same tingly pins and needles feeling. The entire right side of my body. I figured I just probably slept wrong and then it would go away. So I waited. But 3 or 4 days later, the numbness still remained. So I realized something probably wasn't right and I went to the hospital to get checked out. I met with a triage nurse, and after a few questions, I was surprised by the urgency that she rushed me into acute care and got to work on admitting me to the hospital. My right side was numb, which, okay, yes, was weird, but I didn't think it was a really big deal. The way this nurse responded made me realize that maybe this was more than I thought it was. I sat in the hospital for 3 days while doctor after doctor came into my room and ran test after test. And when I overheard repeated murmurs of stroke, 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 the seriousness of what was going on started to sink in. But I was young. I was otherwise pretty healthy. I played sports, I worked full time, and other than not being able to feel half of my body, I thought I was fine. On my third day in the hospital, a doctor I hadn't seen before walked into my room and dropped a bomb. He said, "Hi, Catherine." Not a good sign. No one calls me Catherine, except maybe my mom, and just when I was in trouble. And I'm Dr. So and so, and I'm diagnosing you with multiple sclerosis. I was shocked. The only other thing he said to me was that he made me an appointment at the MS clinic down the road, and I could leave. Just like that. He turned and left. I was 22 years old, and they told me there was nothing else they could do. I felt so alone in that moment, and I spent the next 2 days or so having a little pity party for myself. Then I had this moment of clarity. I didn't just get MS. The moment the doctor gave me the news, it was just that. It was news. He didn't hand me MS. He handed me information, and it was up to me to decide what I was gonna do with it. Over the next few years, I did what many do. I got involved in a bunch of fundraisers to raise money to support the MS Society. I did MS walks, I did the MS bike rides. I wanted to help raise money. But then one day I went to my best friend at the time and she said to me something that was both a total shock and also opened my eyes. I asked her if she'd sponsor me for an upcoming fundraiser. And what she said, I was taken aback by it for a little bit. She said, "Kate, I love you. I will absolutely sponsor you. But you know they're not going to come up with a cure, right?" At that moment, I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. I was flooded with a bunch of emotions. I was hurt, I was sad, I was angry. But when I reflected on what she'd said, I realized that the hard truth she'd just given me was exactly what I needed to hear. It gave me a fresh perspective. I'd been waiting all these years for a knight in shining armor to come and rescue me. And if I was going to get better, it was up to me. A few months later, with eyes wide open now to new possibilities, I found nutrition. Because my awareness was changed, I was seeing new possibilities that I hadn't noticed before. And that's why I wanted to share this with you. A lot of people that come to us have been in a similar situation with thinking that there's nothing you can do if you're suddenly dealing with symptoms, or if you're having things that you're not able to get rid of, and you're hearing from doctors or you're hearing from practitioners that there's nothing more you can do. It's not, it doesn't mean there's nothing more you can do. It means there's nothing more that practitioner knows how to help you with. But there are other options. And so for me, that was what this kind of turning point moment was a realization that there were other options and I need to keep looking. In 2011, I started using nutrition. I committed myself to a 30-day diet change trial and thought to myself, it's only 30 days, right? What's the worst that could happen? But after 30 days, I knew there was no turning back. In the 6 years at this point since my diagnosis, nutrition, this diet change that I did, was the first time I'd felt some improvement. All of the drugs and all the therapy didn't do it for me. I was getting worse when I was following that procedure, that method. But something as simple as making some changes to my diet started the snowball that led to ultimately my healing journey and being able to reverse the problems I was dealing with naturally. Even though my doctor had dismissed the idea that food could help and do anything, over the next months and years, I got to the point where I was thriving. Nutrition and holistic support has literally changed my life. And I'm sharing this with you because I hope that if you ever find yourself in a place where you hear there's nothing you can do, you'll remember my story. Once you open your mind to the possibility and the perspective that there are other options for you, other things show up, other things present themselves. It's like when you're reading a book and it's a book that you've read before, and it's like, why is this different this time? Like, I swear they added an extra chapter or they changed something. The book didn't change, you changed. And so that's where I want to help people and I do help people realize that there are so many things that you can do for yourself and there's so many ways that you can help your body naturally. And if we're dealing with symptoms or we're dealing with health problems, we need to figure out what the cause is. What's the root cause, the reason that you're dealing with these issues? Your body is always trying to heal. It's always trying to get better. And what we do at Align Natural Health and what I like to do is figure out that if the body is not able to heal, there's typically two reasons why that will happen. There's either something getting in the way. So this could be chemicals, this could be mold, this could be heavy metals, this could be parasites, this could be stress. There's so many different things, but if there's something getting in the way from your body being able to heal, then we may need to eliminate something. Like for me, there were some foods that I got rid of, and that started to make a difference. Or there's something missing. And those two can go hand in hand for sure. Something that's getting in the way could be the reason something's missing, and vice versa. But ultimately, your body is always trying to heal itself. And if it's not able to do that, we need to figure out why. When we give the body the support it needs, amazing things can happen. So if you're someone who's heard there's nothing more you can do, who's gone to the doctor, I've had this too, and your blood work comes back as normal, and you hear there's nothing wrong with you, your blood work's fine. If you're still dealing with symptoms and you're frustrated with something or you'd like some support with something, this is where I can help you. This is where I like to dig deeper with clients and help them figure out what is actually going on with them. What's the cause of why you're having the issues you're having? Because when we can deal with the cause and address that, then you start to get better and then symptoms go away. So if this is something that you would like support with, send me a DM. I offer a free discovery call. We can get on the phone. I want to hear more about what's going on with you. And then I'll talk a little bit about how I help and we can figure out if we're a good fit to work together. It's important to know that you have support, that there are options, there are other things you can do because it can feel frustrating and it can feel alone. And I've totally been there sitting in the hospital room in 2005 and feeling like I don't know what to do and I have no options. You do. There are lots of things you can do. And it's just about finding the right support and figuring out what your body needs. So send me a DM if you'd like to learn more. And ultimately, I'm Kate McDowell from Align Natural Health. I'm here to help and help you live well naturally. Have a great day.